Okay, hi there. In this video, we're going to be multiplying out triple brackets, which is part of the new specification. So here's an example of the questions we're going to be looking at. So let's have a look at the question again. So I'm multiplying out these triple brackets. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly just have a look at multiplying and expanding the double brackets using my normal FOIL method. So first, is x times by 3x, and that's 3x squared. Then I have x times by 4, which is a 4x. And then I'm going to now revert to 4, multiplying out the 4. 4 times by 3 is 12x. And now we're going to do 4 times by 4, which is 16. Now let's just they're all positive, so let's just all add them up. And what I notice that I can collect the like terms over here, so that will simplify it to 3x squared plus 16x plus 16. Now I've multiplied everything, these double brackets. What I'm going to do is keep a bracket around them and now multiply it by the 2x minus 2. So we use something that's similar to FOIL. First of all, I'm going to multiply all of these numbers and algebra by expressions by 2x. So I'm going to do 2x times by 3x squared. So 2 times by the 3 will give me a 6. And the x will times by x squared to give me an x cube. Okay, now I'm going to multiply the 2x by 16x. So double 16 gives me 32, and the x over here, that times by the x over here, gives me the x squared. Now I do exactly the same. Now I continue. I do 2x, now times by the 16, and that's just going to give me 32x this time. So just inspecting, I cannot collect any of these terms because I cannot bring together terms that have different powers. Now it's the minus 2 turn. So minus 2 is going to times by 3x squared. So minus 2 times by 3 is minus 6. Now I will bring the second number that I multiply onto a second line. So minus 2 times by 3 is minus 6, but there is no x there in the 2, so it's just x squared. I'm going to leave this underneath my previous x squared from my previous expansion. Then I'm going to do minus 2 times by 16x. That is minus 32x. Then I'm going to do this minus 2 times by 16. That's just 32 on its own, but it's negative. So what my next step is, I'm going to sum them together and find out what I get. Okay, the minus 16 can't be brought together to with anything, so it's just minus 32. Plus 32, take away 32x, cancels out, so that disappears. 32x squared minus 6 will bring me to 26x squared, and this 6x3 has got nothing to, no other term to be brought. So my final answer is 6x cubed plus 26x squared minus 32. And that's how I would expound out a triple bracket. So let's try another, or you can pause this video and have a go, or continue to watch. Okay, so we do exactly the same. I'm going to draw a line here. I'm going to expand these two first. So using FOIL, 2x times by x is 2x squared. 2x times by minus 3 is minus 6x. Negative 4 times by x is negative 4x. And negative 4 times by negative 3 is this positive 12. Okay, now I'm going to collect like terms. Both terms just contain an x, so I can bring them together. So 2x squared, if I'm minus 6 and I'm minus 4, that means I'm minus 10 on my number line. And I'm going to plus on this 12. Now, this bracket needs to expand with this bracket, so we need to expand the bracket still. And using a very similar approach to FOIL, we do 3x times by 2x. So 3x times by 2x is 3 times by 2 is 6. X times by x squared is x cubed. Now we've got 3 times by minus 10, which is minus 30x squared, because the x times by the x to give me the x squared. And 3 times by 12 is positive 36x. Okay, so that's been done. Now we go for the second part, which is minus 2 is going to times by the 2x. So minus 2 times by 2 is minus 4. And I place the minus 4 under this one because minus 2 times by positive 2x is minus 4x squared. So I've got to make sure I keep them in the right column, so when I can see which terms I'm collecting. The minus 2 times by minus 10 gives me a positive 20x, and then minus 2 times by positive 12 gives me that minus 24. Okay. Right, okay, I've got minus 24. I've got 36 plus 20x, which is 56x. I've got minus 30 take away 4. So if I'm minus 30 on my number line, I'm minus 4, so it makes me even more negative. So now I have got minus 34x there, squared. And this 6x cubed is just on its own, because there's nothing else for it to combine with. And that's my answer. Okay, so one more, slightly more difficult one, but we'll work through this together. You can pause the video and have a go, or just work through the video with me. So I'm going to section off this first one, and then I'm going to multiply out this one using FOIL. 3x times by 3x is 9x squared. Let's correct that. And then we've got 3x times by minus 4, which is minus 12x. We multiply positive 4 by 3x, we get a positive 12x. And then if we multiply by positive 4 minus 4, we get this negative 16. Now, as you will notice, these two numbers cancel each other out, because I've got a minus 12 and a 12x. And so I'm left with 9x squared minus 16. And that, I'm going to now bring this one down. Okay, so now I'm going to multiply out these two. So I've got 2x multiplied by 9x squared, and that will give me 18x cubed. I've got this 2x times by 16. I'm going to leave a space here because I've got no x squared, so I'm going to leave the space for the next one. So 2x times by negative 16 is negative 32x. There is no x squares created by the multiplication out of this one. Now I'm going to fill up the next one. So I've got 1 times by 9x. Well, I'm going to place that here, because this column belongs to those with an x squared. Okay, so 1 times by 9x is done. Then I'm going to do 1 times by 16. Well, 1 times by 16 is 16, but it's negative. And again, there is no number here. So we have empty spaces over on these parts. So let's sum that together and finalize our answer. So minus 16 is on its own. Minus 32x is on its own, nothing to combine with, no other term to combine with. 9x squared is positive, so we're going to keep a positive there, and 18x cubed is there, and that's my final answer. So that's how we multiply out